All right, episode 7, one more to go. I was in a little bit of denial about Renee's death in the last one. I know I heard her scream, but it was off screen, so I was like, well, maybe they'll cut back to it because every episode basically ends, and the next one, picks up like seconds after. And I was like, well, maybe she's off screen. I mean, she got shot through the chest. I knew she was gonna die, but since she's my favorite character, I was a little in denial about it, as I said. I like the Jason Voorhees reference here. Obviously, this is a slasher show set in around a summer camp, although this obviously isn't set at a summer camp, but it does deal with one, and I like that there is a Jason Voorhees reference. At the end of the last episode, we find out that Owen is Ren. And, I just kind of thought that was going to be a misdirect, but at the end of this episode, I'm guessing that's him being revealed as the killer. How Judith found out, I'm not sure. She saw the gun and that's it. She's like, oh, it must be him. I don't get the connection there, but whatever. The Kira and Peter thing just came so out of nowhere for me. Like, when he went in to kiss her and then they started fucking, it's like, for one, what? Like, I've never seen any interest between them. And Andy died like a day ago? Like, man, these people are fucking heartless. And then, we've had all sorts of little love connections that are thrown in here. You got Judith and Ren, and you've got, the ones I just mentioned, and then you've got Mark and Dawn. So they're just like, I don't know. I feel like they're throwing it in there for the sake of throwing it in there. Because a lot of it just doesn't feel genuine. It just kind of is like, okay, I guess that just happened. And no one more so than, the Peter and Kira one. I just thought that was completely out of nowhere and just did not feel genuine at all. And then it's over in a second anyway. Then you have Mark finding evidence that he thinks it's Peter. He drugs him. He throws him outside. Peter runs off. He goes in. And he finds evidence that makes it that it's all about Owen. Who I'm guessing that he knows that is Ren. I don't know how he didn't put that together beforehand. We don't know. I mean, I guess he found something. So yeah. Anyway, Talvinder is such a bitch, man. She's such a fucking bitch. Watching this episode, it's just like I know I'm supposed to care that you died, and I do, because no one deserves to be fucking murdered like that for the things she's done, but man, she pushes the limits on that. Just breaking people's trust. And I mean, we find out that in this episode that she's in love with Peter, but God, I have to question that because she seems like she's also in love with Dawn, and I'm just like, what? This chick's all over the place. She is nutty, man. One thing that's consistently been bugging me this whole season, and it's gonna suck if this reveal really is the final reveal and that Ren is the killer and whatnot, is that I just don't care about Ren and Judith. They're the characters that I'm kind of like, meh. And kind of the whole time I've been like, oh, please don't be Judith. Please don't be Judith. I thought that Ren was just too obvious to be the killer. As far as him like going to camp there and being obsessed with Talvinder, as we find out in this episode, and it just keeps like stalking her and whatnot, and he wants revenge on the girl that he was in love with, and now he's in love with Judith supposedly. So everyone's in love with everybody, and it's so awkward. But yeah, I just don't give a fuck about those characters in the slightest. So that's going to be kind of very, a bummer for me for sure. It'll be underwhelming. But, I've loved this season, but I just don't like those characters. And to find out that that's probably going to be the killer, it's like, meh. The whole thing with Judith just pointing the gun at Ren, as I said before, like, I just don't see how that was confirmation that she thought he was the killer. And then she goes out and she wants to kill herself, and it's like, why? Like, because he's the killer and you fucked him? Like, now you want to kill yourself over it? Like, I don't get that whole, like, I just don't care for their characters, and I'm even caring less about them now because their actions aren't making any sense. People seem to be very loose with this gun in this show. The one single, you know, weapon in this show, no one ever seems to grab anything else. They're just kind of fighting over this gun, and it just kind of goes from hand to hand throughout this, and it's just, I don't know, they're very loose with this. I feel like people would be much more attached to that thing than they seem to be in this. You know, not only did we lose Renee, we also lost Mark, one of my other characters that I really liked, despite him doing some shitty things. I thought he was one of the better characters, as a person at least, and it was a bummer to see him get his head blown off. So yeah, I'm definitely curious on this last episode. I mean, if the reveal already happened, I guess this is just going to be the explanation and the, you know, trying to survive and the, you know, defeating him maybe and getting away. I mean, I guess that's a lot of stuff, so I mean, that can definitely be covered, but I guess this is it. It's Ren. Ugh, that's underwhelming. Oh well, let me go see.